Hello everyone. This week's rental is the Mazda 3 4-door sedan hatchback. Nice, sleek design. Very bubbly, nice curves, no rigid edges. Sitting on some 18-inch rims. Kind of resembles a bulb, egg, or I think it looks kind of like a whale. It's kind of different from the usual design trend of cars nowadays. Open up the hood or the trunk. About 3 carry-ons. With the seat folded down, you can fit quite a few more. So quite usable space. Very practical versus the sedan. Let's see, hopping on in the back. I already know it's gonna be a tight fit. 6-foot driver position and 6-foot passenger will be super cramped. There's really no leg room. I could just barely fit in there. However, the good thing is that there's plenty of headroom space, so you don't feel too claustrophobic. It's just gonna be tight in the knees. But surprisingly, some decent room back here. No air vents in the back, or I don't see any controls, outlets, electrical outlets, USB outlets. This folds down, but let me see if I can shift over to the middle. Yeah, you can fit maybe 3 adults back here, but it's going to be a tight fit, snug fit, especially if they're taller. Plenty of headroom space in the middle. I just like, even though this is a compact sedan, it's supposed to be on the economical side. The upholstery here. Vinyl leather and soft plastic, not very hard. I think it's like leather wrap plastic looking material, and leather seats. It gives this a very premium feel. All right, so let me struggle out from the back and hop into the front. All right, hopping into the front. It's a hot day in Texas, so I have the car already started with the AC blowing cold. You come in here and you're needed. Oh yeah, it's a completely lot more room up here, in the cockpit, up in the front. Very spacious, roomy, lots of width, and very nice cockpit. Have some analog and small little digital gauge. I kind of like that from the trend that's all digital nowadays. Nice leather wrap steering wheel. Over in the middle, you have a non-touchscreen pop-up infotainment display, which kind of is able, that looks like a 10-inch wide. Everything's controlled by this rotary knob, which gets a little bit of getting used to, but quite effective once you get used to it. That way, I like how it's far enough that you don't have to, since it's not touchscreen, you don't have to reach for it, and you don't have any fingerprints up in there. Nice little storage area if needed up here. But moving on down, you have your AC control, climate control buttons and knickknacks. You have a small little area to store your device, 2 cup holders, gear shifter, auto hold, parking, and audio control knob, which is very handy. In the middle, center console, a small space but doable. Your USB-C hookups for data connection and charging, 12 volts over here. Have your small little glove compartment, nice upholstery, soft. Up towards the top, you have your sunglass holder and your push buttons for lightings and controls. Nothing too fancy on that end. Moving back towards the middle, steering column, you have your lighting controls and your wiper controls. This is kind of neat. The auto feature is the automatic rain sensoring or wiper controls. It works pretty well. Over on the steering column, you have your Bluetooth and then your cruise control, which does have adaptive cruise control. And lane alert, the steering wheel kind of vibrates, but it doesn't steer you back in. Over here you have other controls for knickknacks, coin storage, small tweeters, power windows and lock controls. So interior is very I would say very minimalistic, but also very nice. I could say that it is entry-level luxury at a compact car price. So you're getting a very stylish exterior and also a luxurious interior. The seats are super comfortable and everything just feels premium in here. Kudos to Mazda on that aspect. So let's take this Mazda 3 hatchback on the road and see how it performs. So the Mazda 3 hatchback has always caught my eye. I felt like its design was stood out. I think that it could stand the test of time. It's been on my short list for used cars to purchase because it's so affordable, but you get a lot of value for it, being that it is almost like it could pass for an entry-level luxury sedan. And so I had to rent it and give it a test drive. Not a lot of the enterprises and nationals had this, so when I saw it, I was like, okay, I'm trying it out. Another reason is because of the engine. It's naturally aspirated, no turbo, and the transmission is a automatic 6-speed, so no CVT. Those are real big on the list for used car ownership for me, being that it is very affordable to maintain. It's a mass production car, so there's plenty of parts throughout the years, 10 years plus of this vehicle. And the naturally aspirated 4-cylinder is a no moving parts like a turbo, or less mechanical parts, so less breakage to it. So that is a big plus. And then the CVT, non-CVT transmission, the automatic 6-speed, is just I'm not fully bought into CVTs, and if they do break, you pretty much out a couple $1,000s to get it repaired. So for keeping it long term as a used daily driver vehicle, those are some of the main criteria. Basically just keeping it very simple, very low tech as possible, but also trying to keep up with the industry standard for 2025 is on the big list. So once I get out of this traffic, we'll just let the throttle run out on the open interstate and see how it performs. Alright, so I was able to make it out of that gridlock and hopped onto the interstate. We're cruising on the slow lane for a good 100 plus miles. So, the Mazda3 hatchback, 4-door sedan, powered by the base model, powered by an inline 4-cylinder, 2.0 liter engine, pushing out roughly 155 horsepower and roughly the same amount of torque, and it's just adequate power. It's not going to break any speed records, but it's not going to put you in any situations where you have to think a few seconds ahead, because you got to anticipate the acceleration and incoming traffic and merging or whatnot. So it does feel kind of slow from a stop and 0 to second speeds, but once it gets up to speed, it is you don't notice the lack of power. So there is the 2.5 liter model, which is close to 200 horsepower, I believe, still naturally aspirated, but you can only get those with the all-wheel drive version. So the base model is front-wheel drive, and the standard, the 2.0 liter engine. Now, and then there's also the turbocharged one, is 200 plus as well too, but those are just like the premium models. Having said that, the transmission, the 6-speed, is just smooth. I can't really describe it to you, but it just is just buttery smooth. It has like very good shift points, even though even if you have it in the sport mode where it keeps it in the revs longer for more power output, it's just smooth. And on the highway, it is quiet. You don't hear the droning of the CVT transmissions. Those can get the buzz of it, those can get pretty annoying. So it's a night and day difference with CVTs. I think like a 7-speed auto dual clutch transmission would be a little bit of overkill, at least in this base model engine. So I'm glad to see the 6-speed on here, that Mazda chose to use this transmission. Braking is responsive. It is a fairly lighter vehicle, especially the hatchback version, so it is very responsive on here. The standout will have to be the steering, and I think the handling and the steering is Mazda's strong suit. I feel like I am driving a Mazda Miata. I've been able to take it into the hill countries, the twists and turns of the hill countries, No, it's not really mountainous areas, but it was very calm and composed, and you could take some of those turning lines a little bit faster and with more confidence. So everything about it, I think the theme of this vehicle is just smooth. Everything smooth lines, smooth exterior, smooth interior, just smooth everything, which is great on here. Gas mileage is pretty average at best. I think I'm getting about close to 360 miles to the gallon, so it's not stellar, but it's not bad either. And it does only take regular unleaded, and so that's a big plus. No premium needed on this vehicle. So overall, as a rental, I'm very, very impressed. This could actually pass as a luxury, entry-level luxury vehicle, but it's not nearly as priced as it. As a rental, A+, and I'm going to go out so far as a purchase is probably an A+ too. Being that you'll get a lot of car, a lot of value at a very economical, low price that doesn't hurt the pocketbook. So thanks for watching, and leave your comments. Let me know your thoughts on the Mazda 3 hatchback. Really, really like this car. All right, I'm gonna get back to this road trip. So see you in the next video. Bye.